Education degree in Language Education in 1995 and a PhD in Development Communication from the Department of Communication and Language Arts in 2002 from the University of Ibadan. Professor Ojebode began his brilliant university teaching career in the year 2000 as assistant lecturer in the Department of Communication and Language Arts. Upon the successful completion of his doctoral study in 2002, he was upgraded to the rank of lecturer grade 2. He was promoted lecturer grade 1 in 2005, senior lecturer in 2008, and professor in 2013. Professor Ojebode has served the University of Ibadan in many capacities. He was acting head, Department of Communication and Language Arts from 2011 to 2016, and head from 2016 to date. Before then, he had served as the postgraduate coordinator and level advisor for several years. He has served as member or chair of many committees and boards in the university, including Senate Publications Committee, Appointments and Promotion Panels of Kenneth D.K. Library. He is the chair of the Publicity Subcommittee of Central UI at 70 Committee and chair of the Postgraduate College UI at 70 Committee. Professor Ojebode has served as chair of editorial board or as editor for a number of journals. He has been the board member or reviewer for some 20 internationally recognized journals. He has 65 academic publications and more than 50 research disseminating and popular publications to his credit. He has successfully supervised 10 PhD theses and many master's degree dissertations. He has served as co-supervisor for master's and doctoral students at the University of Leiden, the Netherlands, and as external examiner and or assessor to universities in the United States, South Africa, Ghana, and 10 universities in Nigeria. Professor Ojebode was a visiting scholar or researcher at the Center for Research on Inequality, Human Security and Ethnicity, CRIS, University of Oxford, United Kingdom in 2007, College of Communication, Pennsylvania State University, the United States of America in 2008, African Studies Center, University of Leiden in 2010, the Netherlands Institute for Advanced Studies in Humanities and Social Sciences 2011. He has received research grants from many funding agencies, including at the Page Center at the Pennsylvania State University, USA, CRIS in the University of Oxford, Practical Action Consulting in the United Kingdom, and Partnership for African Social and Governance Research, FAGA, in Kenya. Professor Ojebode has consulted for the World Bank, United Nations Agency, National Broadcasting Commission, Partnership for African Social and Governance Research, Institute for Media and Society, the Women for Children, Omosunlade, Ebunoluwa, Oluwatomisin, and Anu Oluwapo. It is my privilege to call on Professor Ojebode to deliver his lecture titled In Search of Muted Voices for the Mirage Name Development. Professor Ojebode.
Deputy Vice Chancellor Administration, Deputy Vice Chancellor Academic, Deputy Vice Chancellor Research, Innovation and Strategic Partnerships, all other principal officers, directors, Dean of the Faculty of Arts, all other things. distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Once upon a small passenger plane that links Ibadan to Abuja, as the pilot struggled to keep the plane off the way of the bumps, a respected academic, a man of distinction in this university, left his seat and came to mine. He patted me lightly on the back and his signature tune called out, "Aburo." Following the exchange of pleasantries, he told me of an issue that was bothering him. He had been at a meeting where the secretary had committed an embarrassing language error in the minutes of meeting. Yet when he, the professor, attempted to correct the minutes of the meeting, the secretary went on the long expose of his curriculum vitae, telling the meeting that he was trained in the United Kingdom as a chartered secretary and had worked as secretary at some of the best multinationals in the world with decades of excellent work experience. And what did you say, sir? I asked the professor. Aburo. I had to keep quiet. By the time he finished reciting his achievements, there was nothing else I could say, the professor told me. Throughout the rest of that bumpy flight and long after, I kept musing on that short conversation and the ways it spoke to my scholarship and research. I thought of many of different obvious ways by which people's voices are muted. For instance, when I was in secondary school, the best way to mute some people's voices for the whole day was to declare vernacular speaking in this class is prohibited. I also wondered about the many subtle ways in which voices are muted. An unfriendly look, or shrug, or even silence sometimes serves to mute voices. I thought about the pervasiveness of the art of silencing or muting the voices of the other person. Don't we see it every day, everywhere? A man brushes another man's car with peace, and what follows, especially in Lagos. One says, "Do you know who I am?" The other replies, "Do you know who I am too?" One says, "Do you know I can call the DPO of Koniland police station for you right now?" The other says, "Do you know I can call the GOC of Oledan Barracks for you right now?" Each tries to frighten the other by calling out yet a bigger name until they get right up to Aso Rock. In fact, in Ibadan one day, a pair of brothers surpassed their Lagos counterparts in an Ibadan filling station when one said, "Do you know I can curse you right now from heaven and you will be forever?" And the other replied, "Do you know I can call down the Holy Ghost fire right now and you will turn to ashes?" Since this was happening in a filling station, when fire was mentioned, all those who had ignored them became peacemakers. Whether it be on the streets, among building drivers, online, among cyber bullies, at board meetings with an overbearing secretary, or in our classroom, where for some of us, each sentence begins with, "When I was at Harvard." The struggle to mute the voices of others is ever palpable, and sometimes it assumes desperate dimension. And this should worry all of us, because with the people's voice muted, their agency is compromised, and their collective destiny is checkmated. This was why I devoted my research time and resources to searching out for voices that have been muted and for how to liberate these ones and harness them for national and community development. Mr. Vice Chancellor, this is the end of my story. But what is the beginning? I grew up in a rural area with parents who did not have Western education and could neither write nor read. We did not have a television set, pipe-on water, or modern toilet facilities. As kids, if we were not in school, our life was around the 4 F's: farm work, food, fight, or fun. Yet we were free and happy. As a matter of fact, each time we had such words as poor or talaka, poor people or talaka, we wondered whom those terms referred to. We knew for sure it could never have been to us, for we were too happy to think of ourselves as poor. All of that naive innocence disappeared gradually as I became educated. I began undergraduate education in 1988 in Dr. University, Ife. By then, although the cracks in the USSR were already visible and the breakup was imminent, left-wing lecturers still had great following and audiences at symposia and public lectures. At Ife, ideology-driven public lectures and symposia were a staple. In the classrooms, I learned literary criticisms from Dr. Ayo Ojebode, who dwelt more on Marxist literary theory than all the other theories put together. About the same time, Dr. M.E.N. demystified poetry and gave us a good dose of rationalist poetic battles with poverty, oppression, and inequality. The third leg of my molding was from the Faculty of Education, where a certain Dr. Osuji taught educational philosophy with measured but contagious passion. I read portions of Freire's Pedagogy of the Oppressed and Illich's The Schooling Society. Paulo Freire insists that education will be the process of muting the voices of students and turning them into robots unless care is taken to activate critical thinking and midwife expression in these students. These three together taught me three important lessons. One, the poor and talaka whom we grew up pitying were actually we just didn't know. Two, certain systemic configurations kept the poor not just poor, but also happy in their situations and blind to the realities of their plight. Three, and this is the most challenging, the true calling of an educated person is to channel his or her education to addressing these situations and redeeming them. These lessons continue to haunt me to this day and remain an indelible affliction indeed. The affairs of this world are like chameleon pieces to which I have stepped. When I clean it, cannot go. I came to the Department of Communication and Language at the University of Ibadan in the mid-1990s, and I met Professor Ayo Ojebode teaching these very issues in his development communication classes. Therefore, the disturbing thoughts about poverty and inequality that began in Ife only got a heavier weight in Ibadan. It was therefore little wonder that I found a natural place in development communication and eventually obtained a PhD in that discipline. My supervisor, the late Dr. James Olanide Akile, repeatedly warned me, all this you are according to. The luxury we cannot afford now is research that is disconnected from all the pain surrounding us. And pain indeed surrounds us. Applied communication and the near names development. Communication scholarship can be roughly divided into two: applied communication studies and theoretical communication studies. Whereas theoretical communication deals with philosophical and conceptual issues around transceivers, channels, media, and outcomes or effects of communication, with the aim of propounding an enduring and universal principle and proposition, applied communication deals with the grounding of these principles in the specific context and to specific problems. The attraction which applied communication had for me therefore was its focus on the problems of society and how communication speaks to these problems. Development communication, a subset of applied communication, focuses on the use of communication to promote and engender development. There is absolutely no doubt about the confusion surrounding the concept of development. The earlier articulation of development saw it as a process of and politics of helping certain countries of the world become more like Western and so-called developed countries in terms of economic growth, infrastructure, and even culture. This thinking was rejected, however, when it was discovered that in many countries, as the economies were growing, poverty, homelessness, and unemployment were also growing. This attracted a shift from the strict economic and quantitative understanding of development to basic needs approaches and to participatory bottom-up development approaches to development. The shift was also accompanied by an outpouring of metaphors, people-oriented development, putting people in the driver's seat, participatory development, and other romantic expressions were used. The role of the media also shifted from information dissemination, patterned after the Inaugural model, to dialogic, horizontal, participatory communication aimed at creating and stimulating understanding around development issues and solutions. Essentially, communication for participatory development was meant to create opportunities for the voiceless to be heard in the mutual negotiation and interaction between them and their officials. The aim of communication, therefore, should be to serve people to articulate their self-identified needs and pool their resources together to meet those needs. The end is more than higher GDP or longer life expectancy or increase in families or drop in maternal mortality. As important as desirable as all these are, they are not the ultimate end of participatory development communication, which is people having a say in the matters that concern them. Development planning in Nigeria dates back to 1895, when the British Secretary of State appealed to the House of Commons on the need to give imperial assistance to the colonies. From 1925 to 1945, Nigeria had 3 colonial development acts, focusing initially on infrastructure and gradually widening to include welfare, education, health, and other indicators. Between 1962 and 2018, there were 5 national development plans and numerous short-term development policies and national, such as Operation Feed the Nation, Vision 2010, and Vision 2020, as well as several directorates. Nigeria was part of the Millennium Development Goal, but it achieved only 6 out of 36 indicators. and did not completely achieve any goal. Then he joined the rest of the world to pursue 17 sustainable development goals. It did not occur to us that someone who was unable to achieve 8 goals would be unlikely to achieve 17. A few issues quickly arise here. First, for over 120 years, Nigeria has been planning and pursuing something named development. Second, we are not very sure we know what this thing means. At the beginning, it was infrastructure, then it was economy, then it was broadened to include health, education, and other social services. Later, every factor was thrown in. Third, in the case of Nigeria, even though this thing named development was later realized to be about people, its definition, planning, execution, and evaluation have been largely done for the people, not with them. Fourth, we have not been able to get hold of it. We think we know it, we think we have cornered it, and when it seems we are about to grab it, it disappears. Therefore, at the conceptual, practical, and experiential levels, we seem to be dealing with a mirage. Yet, development does not have to be a mirage. In my earliest experience with the demand side of development, I asked members of 6 communities to define for me what development meant to them. It was stunning how each community looked inward and identified what it considered its most urgent need in defining development. So it was all about our school, our clinic, our market, our road, our business, our house, in which disturbing our crops, rather than some high-quality distant terminologies or statistics. One important lesson that emerged from the study was that while it is important to have national development plans, policies, and projects, putting the people at the center of development will require working with the communities and learning from them. Development efforts that will be felt by the people must emerge from their collective voices. However, when in the same study I asked media professionals to define development as they understood it, they described it in national terms: the economy, technological advancement, beautiful cities and parks. This was the beginning of my worries about the fate of the partnership that was to happen between media professionals and citizens in the participatory development arrangement. It led me to question whose voices the media represent. Whose voices do the media represent? Mr. Vice Chancellor. In Nigeria, the first newspaper was established in 1859. Radio broadcasting began in 1932 and television in 1959. From their beginnings, mass media have grown widely in Nigeria as they have elsewhere. The Nigerian Press Council has 430 newspapers listed on its website, while the National Broadcasting Commission has 601 broadcast stations listed as active stations. My research on media as agents of development threw up a number of lessons. First was that mass media have grossly underperformed as far as participatory development is concerned. My studies show that mass media view the world from a standpoint that privileges the male, influential, and urban-dwelling members of the society. For instance, though women make up about 80% of agricultural and agribusiness workforce, mass media feature men as actors in this sector 80% of the time. This situation, which I call status miscompra, has grave implications. Influenced by media contents, agencies and organizations working to support farmers will most likely support the wrong kind of people, the male non-farmers who hang around on the farms. This may be one of the major reasons for the failure of many development interventions in agricultural and other sectors. In the content of the media, we realize that rural dwellers are to hear, not to say, they are to accept, not to propose, they are at best objects, not subjects of communication. Rural dwellers who are often poor have no voice of their own. The second major input of my study from my studies on the performance of mass media in the participatory development effort was that mass media cannot but underperform given what, how, and where they are. Broadcasting began in Nigeria as public service, and both radio and television stations devoted some amount of time and energy to education and other development issues. With the deregulation of broadcasting in 1992, however, there was a rush and competition for funds among broadcast stations. Government stations received matching orders to begin to generate revenue through advertisements and other means. Within a short time, the true colors of these stations as business ventures became very clear. Mass media organizations are basically now business enterprises out to minimize costs and maximize profit. In the process of pursuing profit, they indeed get many things wrong. Our study of the impact of government neoliberal policy on broadcasting showed heartbreaking disrespect, not just for the broadcasting code and public service, but also for whatever did not generate revenue. My journalist interviewees lamented the severe violation of their consciences in their bid to generate funds for their stations and damage this did to their professional self-esteem. For instance, a neighborhood in Ibadan discovered that a multinational brewery was dumping industrial waste in their community. After several complaints yielded no outcome, they marched to a broadcast station to make their grievances known, hoping to get sympathetic coverage from this broadcast station. Placards in hand at the gate of the station, they showed evidence of disease outbreak resulting from industrial waste. One of our interviewees, then the senior management, a station management staff, said they virtually ignored the protesters. The station could not report the protest as a protest because the brewery was a major sponsor and customer of the station. Rather, the event was reported from the angle of the brewery's environment-friendly efforts. In other words, the citizens' complaints became a public relations score for the commercial interests oppressing them. Perhaps the most atrocious practice in the search for revenue and other favors was the commercialization of news. News is sacred and serious and should not be trifled with. Section 5 subsection 1(3) of the Nigerian Broadcasting Code insists that news is sacred and should never be sponsored in any manner, including the use of commercial backdrops. In total disregard for this section of the code, especially during elections, many stations aired whole news analysis that were sponsored by political leaders and their associates. For instance, Mr. Ambadinuju, then governor of Anambra State, himself sponsored the whole of 7 a.m. news for several days in April 2003, with a message on why he should be voted for a second term. In Sokoto, about the same time, 2 news presenters on NTA called on the people to vote the ruling party for another term. All these are unthinkable and unheard of excesses committed by the mainstream media. The existing ownership structure of mass media does not permit them to be truly development-oriented. In our study of ethical dilemma of journalists in Nigeria, we discovered a 3-in-1 species of media owners, politicians who were business people and who were also media owners. At once, they eliminate the checks and balances that should be between politics, corporate interests, and the media. Their multiple intersecting interests further reduce the elbow room of the journalists they employ. As a result, there is a limit to what issues can be covered and how. This situation does enormous damage to the morale of the professional journalist. For instance, a young journalist I interviewed told the story of a party convention he went to cover. The proprietor of this news organization was a major contender at that convention. Fortunately, the convention could not take place as a result of extreme violence by party thugs. A typical news journalist, our young professional filed in an exciting hard news report with images of the chaos at the convention. A few hours later, he was shocked to see his story online, saying that the convention was peaceful but was postponed because of logistics. In anger, he called his editor and demanded explanation for the injury done to his story and to his reputation. In response, his editor reprimanded him for lack of sense. The editor told him, "We sent you to go and cover convention, you went and covered fights." This is how voices are muted, even in a profession that swore to uphold the freedom of expression. Therefore, it is unreasonable to expect the mass media to serve the purpose of liberating citizens and supporting them for participatory development. Just as it is unreasonable to blame journalists solely for the underperformance of mass media on the issue at hand. Mass media cannot behave otherwise in the current context. Are social media therefore the ultimate liberator of muted voices? Mr. Vice Chancellor, given the poor performance of mass media as facilitators of participatory development, it was not a surprise that much hope was vested on social media right from its emergence. Social media provide opportunities for equitable, horizontal communication among network members, and it provides instant and now affordable access to news and information as they break, and allows anyone to create content and respond to created content. There are no ownership restraints, and there are no editors in many cases. Social media allows users to say it as they think it is, and in most cases, without fear or of repercussion. Finally, I want to say, social media are indeed the liberators of the muted voices of the people. And Nigerians have demonstrated the power of social media as the liberators of voices. Significant changes have happened in this country in matters of governance and accountability as citizens trooped online to make their demands known. For instance, in just 1 week in July 2009, Nigerians got the pastor of the famous Abuja church to step aside over allegations of sexual violence. They got the federal government to back down on its proposed cattle rearing project known as RUGA. They got an abusive member of Senate to own up to gender violence, and they got the Inspector General of Police to order the senator's arrest and brief detention. In all these matters, the use of social media was prominent, even largely instrumental. Some of our studies also point to the successful use of social media as liberators of muted voices and tools for deepening democracy, empowerment, and accountability. However, in assessing the contributions of social media in these areas, one has to exercise some restraint. Our study of the Arab Spring and why that social media fueled uprising did not spread to Nigeria but got stuck in the desert suggested a wide range of political, economic, and infrastructural factors that hinder the effectiveness of social media as agents of change and as voices of the people. In yet another study, we discovered that some of the factors that hinder the performance of mass media, such as basic literacy, are also to a large extent a major obstacle to the deployment of social media for participatory development, empowerment, and accountability by citizens. Mr. Vice Chancellor, further observations should be made about the role of social media as citizens' voices in the democratic dispensation. First, with the use of social media, it is now possible to organize a protest within a few hours. In one of the examples cited earlier, it took less than 2 days to get people marching in front of the concerned church in Abuja. There is hardly any week now that there is not a protest at the National Assembly. While this is on the surface very good for our democracy, apprehensions have to be nursed about the durability of these marches and movements. In many cases, no sooner do they begin than they lose steam and fizzle out. Their follow-through capacity on any chosen issue is indeed feeble, meaning that all the authorities have to do is just to wait them out. They will soon boil over and go back home. As a media tracking of the interaction analysis show, even the most resilient of such protests, which is the Bring Back Our Guest movement, is gradually petering out. Second, it is hard to silence the doubt about the character of these protesters themselves. There is now a mixture of genuine ideology-informed protesters, protestpreneurs, and rented protesters. Again, this is not unconnected with the speed and ease with which protests are organized. In the pre-social media times, the process of organizing protests was long and grueling, requiring careful planning, speeches, and a good dose of indoctrination. Grueling as it was, however, it paid off in the quality, solidity, and consistency of those who got on the streets. Now that offline protests follow online ones at the drop of a hat, quality is giving way to virality. Third, why does the Nigerian government seem to act quickly in certain situations and accede to certain demands but not to others, despite equally vociferous online and offline protests? Why did the government, for instance, grant the demands of not too young to run movement but not that of end SARS? In other words, it seems very much that social media-based activism is recording wins in matters that are not of extreme consequence. Wins that give social media activists a false sense of power, a glamorization of powerlessness. Fourth, the anonymity which most platforms afford their users makes it easy for overbearing users to silence other users. Since on a typical platform there would be at least a handful of overbearing users, such users split into camps along ethnic, political, or religious lines and trade the worst form of insult that they can compose. One can't even state a fact and get away with it. Take for instance, A, we have not had electricity for 2 days. B, maybe you people voted for change. Emma, fools. They do not even care whether you voted and whom you voted for. But from that point on, no one will hear anything about electricity anymore. It will be one bad expression of insult followed by a worse one. The word savage is now a positive expression used to describe and commend those who can compose the worst form of insult. In fact, those who can insult the more get more likes. And those who cannot cope with this either leave or remain forever silent. Indeed, social media has become a tool to mute the voices. Social media has become a tool to mute the voices of many rather than a tool to liberate muted voices. Why would a set of poor and cheated people form a WhatsApp group, then probably borrow money to subscribe to data, but instead of advancing their collective interests as a group of the poor, fight each other in defense of those who are robbing them. Freire is sadly right when he says those who are invaded, whatever their level, rarely go beyond the models which the invaders prescribe for them. In my view, therefore, many of what people post in these conversations are not their voices. They are the voices prescribed for them by the political and religious elite who oppress them, but who they still strive to defend. Unknown to them, their authentic voices and agency have been stolen and replaced with booksellers for those who stole them. Community radio, the scholar, and policy product. It became quite clear to me early in my career that the conventional mass media in their existing configuration could not deliver on participatory development. As a result, I began exploring opportunities for a more participatory communication approach to development. One globally recognized agent of development is community radio. Defined as a not-for-profit radio station owned and managed by a community and dedicated to development, community radio is largely protected from ownership influence and commercial interests. Since the community radio is owned and managed by a community, it lives in that community. It is indeed the type of media with the greatest likelihood to find and preserve the culture and voice of the people. However, as at 2000, the year 2000, Nigeria did not have a single community radio station. There were no provisions for it in the broadcast code and in the constitution. To make matters more complicated, in Nigeria, broadcasting is on the exclusive list. More than that, it is only the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that can grant a broadcast license. In the early 2000s, I found kindred in Dr. Akin of the Institute for Media and Society, Lagos, and Dr. Tunde Adebola of the African Languages Technology Initiative on Ibadan. With others, we began to raise the debate on community radio in Nigeria, supported by the World Community Radio Body known as AMAC and Palos Institute West Africa. IMS, Institute for Media and Society, organized community radio awareness campaigns in Bauchi, Enugu, Ibadan, and Kaduna, where we sensitize community-based organizations, academia, journalists, civil society, and others on the nature and importance of community radio. My role was largely to provide academic and other evidence as fodder for discussions at these meetings. Such included my publications with Dr. Tunde Adebola on titled Engaging Development, Environment and Content of Radio Broadcasting in Nigeria, and another titled Set to Development-Oriented Broadcasting. We faced immediate opposition from government officials and government agencies and politicians who insisted that radio in the hands of the community would become a tool for fueling ethnic and religious violence. An official once confronted us, "Can you imagine radio in the hands of Niger Delta militants?" You people will set this country on fire. It seems as if the voice of the people at the grassroots is terror to those in authority. Therefore, that voice, they insist, must by all means be muted. In 2005, we inaugurated the Nigeria Community Radio Coalition at the conference, and that coalition became the masthead for the campaign for a community radio in Nigeria. The coalition asked the government to establish a different broadcasting tier and licensing regime for community radio. In fact, the coalition asked that radio licenses be given to communities either free or at a little cost. At that time, it cost about 5 million naira to obtain a non-urban radio license. Our reasoning was that if communities were asked to bring such money, most of them would not be able to afford it. But then they would go cap in hand to rich people and politicians who would give them the money, but then pocket their radio. So we insisted on the separate licensing regime for community radio in Nigeria. Our first major breakthrough was in 2006 when the Honorable Minister of Information, Mr. Frank Nweke, informed the coalition of government readiness to enact a community radio policy for Nigeria. We jumped at this opportunity and ensured that members of the Nigerian Community Radio Coalition were in the policy drafting committee. In fact, we smuggled in the patron of the coalition to head that committee. We recruited about 20 community development associations from across Nigeria and began manpower development workshops for their representatives. Community representatives were sent out also on a study tour of West African countries to observe how community radio worked and what it accomplished. About this time, I wrote Doing Community Radio, a toolkit for Nigerian communities, a book that was published and distributed free by IMS and which was immediately adopted in several community radio stations outside Nigeria. With assurances from our colleagues and sympathizers in the Ministry of Information and related government agencies, we thought we were close to getting community radio licenses to the communities. Then came the shock. In 2006, the federal government released 6 licenses to campus radio stations. Within a few months, the licenses became 27. While the coalition rejoiced at the further diversification of the broadcast sector, it insisted that a campus radio station was not a community radio station. The National Broadcasting Commission then told us, can call them campus community radio. And we insisted that a campus radio station belonged to an organization and is funded by that organization and is run by employees who are on salary. It is totally under the authority of the Vice Chancellor, who is appointed by an individual known as the visitor. And Vice Chancellors and visitors can be very powerful. On the other hand, the community radio station is owned by a trust known as a community development association. It is run by volunteers and is accountable to that association, not to an individual. Again, the burden of providing an academic basis and evidence for this argumentation fell on me. All the same, the coalition embraced campus radio stations and began empowering them in different aspects of broadcasting. In line with that, with patience connected to my first PhD student and Dr. Tunde Adebola, I wrote audience research methods for Nigerian campus radio, funded by IMS and distributed free. While on the one hand, we were strengthening the campus radio stations, on the other hand, we kept up the demand for real community radio stations. The draft national community radio policy was still at the presidency when the president's term expired in 2007. The Minister of Information and other appointees were replaced by new ones when the new president assumed office. Thus, we lost a minister and other sympathizers who had understood the need for community radio and had become committed to its establishment. As a result, we had to start the advocacy for community radio afresh. Many partners and community organizations were discouraged, and some threatened to begin broadcasting without a license. It was our duty to discourage them, making it clear to them that unlicensed broadcasting would be criminal. It took 8 good years to undo the harm done by that change of government. 2 field works that we conducted at this time showed the level of frustration the communities had with the government over community radio. The first of these 2 was among the Baruten community in Kwara State. The Baruten, also called the Baruba in Yoruba, sprawl across the Nigerian-Benin border. In fact, the border at Chikanda is just an iron bar that people cross back and forth without documentation. The Baruten in both countries consider Lekki in Benin Republic as their traditional headquarters. While the Nigerian government kept on learning about community radio in Nigeria, the Baruten simply crossed the border to Lekki in the Republic of Benin and established their own radio station. Our analysis showed that more than 2/3 of the money spent in running the radio station in Benin Republic, more than 2/3 of the money spent in running that station came from the Nigerian Baruten, who were wealthier than their Beninese kin. What was more, each time the chairman of Baruten local government area wanted to address his constituency, which was of course in Nigeria, he would simply travel to Benin Republic and use the Baruten community radio in Lekki to address the people in Nigeria. The second field work was in another border split community, the Woyeke community, which is half Ogun and half in Benin Republic. In this community, we met people who were Nigerians in their place of work, the Beninese in their residential building, each within meters of the other. In fact, one of my friends stood in Benin Republic and the other friend stood in Nigeria, and they shook hands across the border. The Oye of Woyeke captured the meaninglessness of African borders in these words. He says, the white man divided the land, but he could not divide the people. Therefore, the Woyeke community wanted a community radio station that would serve their community across the border. They made a building ready for their station, began to mobilize funds for equipment, and even compile ideas for the contents of their community radio. Their enthusiasm was, however, badly damaged beyond repairs when Nigeria government asked the hopes of community radio licensing in 2006. Now, the people of the community have turned their attention to support to Alake 2 FM, a community radio located in the Benin Republic. Again, Nigeria's loss is Benin's scale. As part of that keeping hope alive, in 2012, my department and the Nigerian Community Radio Coalition, or I and IMS, organized an international conference on community media, attended by academics and community radio enthusiasts from many countries. The conference, which took place on this campus, further fueled interest in community radio and in its advocacy. About this time, working on contributions from within and outside Africa, I edited a book volume on community media, giving pride of place to community radio specifically. And I also co-authored research for community radio and advocacy and capacity building in Nigeria with my second PhD student, Dr. Ayo Ojebode. In May 2015, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan finally granted licenses to 17 pilot community radio stations across the nation. The first station to begin transmission was Lavon Community Radio in Kutigi, Niger State. 4 others quickly followed. After Community Radio in Ojebode State, Ejulele Community Radio in Okitipupa, Kakaki Community Radio in Ondo, and Nenzit Community Radio in Harman, Kaduna State. Some more began transmitting later. For us in the Nigerian Community Radio, therefore, President Jonathan's acceptance of his defeat in 2015 election was not the most significant expression of his commitment to democratic ideals. For us, the most significant expression was his release of licenses to the most democratic tier of broadcasting, community radio broadcasting. Mr. Vice Chancellor, on 17th July 2015, we woke up to hear Eni Radio Yan Jeman Lavushi Bere Zagwabagi, meaning this is the radio of the Lavon people, voice of the poor. That day, I heard we have finally found one of the muted voices. Although these stations are working under severe technical and financial strains, they are making remarkable impact. For instance, in Ondo, the state government had announced that free books were being distributed to the pupils in public schools, but no books were seen with the pupils. Then Babatunde Faye of Ejulele Community Radio began to ask critical questions and ended up dealing with this issue on his program, Odidere. Within days of the program, books suddenly appeared in the store and were distributed to the pupils. This was not a mere coincidence. At Lavon Community Radio in Kutigi, Mustafa Ahmed reported using critical investigative skills learned from IMS to hold local government accountable over a vandalized government bulldozer parked in a remote village. The vehicle had been sent to repair a road that was washed away and had cut off several villages from civilization. Somewhere in the bush, the driver and the contractor parked the bulldozer, removed vital parts, and disappeared. But instead of investigating this and repairing the bulldozer, the local government started hiring another bulldozer and paying exorbitantly. When Mustafa and his Lavon Radio team would not keep quiet about this scam, the local government took action on it. The vandals were arrested and made to repair the bulldozer. Within weeks, the abandoned roads were graded, road was graded, and hundreds of villagers were able to bring their produce to the market once again. Mr. Vice Chancellor, can we now see why some people solidly oppose the idea of community radio in Nigeria for those many years? In each of these community radio stations, we hear stories of radio being used to hold government accountable, to subvert evil, and to give voice to those who have never been heard. The brilliant performance of these stations, despite severe constraints, probably explains the decision of the Muhammadu Buhari administration to license even more community radio stations. In November 2018, the government granted licenses to 24 community radio stations in communities. The Nigerian Community Radio Coalition has again sworn into action by serving and empowering these new entrants into the community radio family. Mr. Vice Chancellor, my adventure into policy project opened my eyes to the difficulty of stimulating policy making in Nigeria. It is easier to see the Almighty God and have word with Him than it is to see and have a word with a Nigerian politician who is in office. I learned resilience, teamwork, and smart work. I learned that as scholars in our university cocoons, we are politically naive most of the time. And that explains why our policy recommendations, tucked away in one small section of our heavily academic publications, are a laughing stock to policymakers. I must repeat the immortal words of my late supervisor, Dr. James Lange. The luxury that we cannot afford now is research that is disconnected from all the pain that surrounds us. Yet making our research count takes a lot of effort. it actually takes pain to take pain away. The scholar who will make this happen, I learned, must get out of his or her comfort zone, learn the language of policymakers, and be ready to endure their sometimes demeaning way of treating people. He or she must work with a team and recognize the importance of policy champions and invisible allies. My undying commitment to policy and critical policy engaged research led me into other ventures post-professorial. For instance, leading other colleagues in Nigeria and with colleagues in El Salvador, we studied community-based crime prevention practices in 18 communities in Ibadan and identified the conditions under which these informal security arrangements yielded positive outcomes. Post-study evaluation showed that study has led to positive changes in the community-based security practices of some communities in Nigeria and also in Kenya. The Department of Communication and Language Arts. Mr. Vice Chancellor, this is the third inaugural lecture from that department, following Professor Uno's lecture in 1980 and Professor Dejide's in 2004. Therefore, before bringing my lecture to its sunset, permit me, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, to say a word on the Department of Communication and Language at the University of Ibadan. There is a lot of misunderstanding about what we do and who we are as a department. Some of this misunderstanding arises from the fact that we are the only department so named in the country and on the continent, but some arises from mere mischief. We were the Department of Language Arts from 1975 up to 1987 when we became the Department of Communication and Language Arts. We run a broad curriculum that spans language arts, that is speaking, writing, listening, and reading. Our curriculum also covers the communication arts and professions, including broadcasting, broadcast journalism, print journalism, public relations and advertising, organizational communication, interpersonal communication, development communication, and book publishing. At the undergraduate level, our students take all these courses, but at the postgraduate level, they specialize. Our aim as a department is to produce consummate communicators who easily become change agents once they get out of here. Our curriculum equips them to function in nearly limitless positions in the social and professional world. This is what we offer the world, but we are very much misunderstood by some. Are you mass communication? They ask us. We are not. Mass communication is an important and prestigious profession, but we just are not mass communication. We produce graduates who are rounded and who possess a repertoire of professional skills and quality that go beyond mass communication. And these are the graduates of the future. And these are the graduates of the future. The era of specialist mono-skilled graduates is giving way to that of multi-skilled multitaskers, which is what our graduates are. How do you measure the strength and substance of a department? It is by its products, isn't it? Our products are indeed holding down important jobs across the country and beyond. As leaders of industry in advertising sector, public relations officers, broadcasters, speech consultants, editors, communication researchers, communication teachers, communication officers in local and international NGOs, and human resources managers, among others. Our students and alumni bring home highly competitive awards in all aspects of communication, especially advertising and creative writing. And this is why we are among the most sought after departments in the University of Ibadan. Our teaching staff continue to distinguish themselves in their scholarly communities. Anyone in Nigeria who could discuss children's literature without Odejide, book publishing without Adesanya, development communication without Shola, or communication theory without Ola, and God rest his soul, could certainly find dry sand under the Atlantic. Those members of staff who are still in service have continued to keep up the great tradition of excellence that these academic pillars left for us. Importantly, there is not a viable department of mass communication or communication arts in Nigeria today without at least one product of ours holding things together there. Everywhere you turn, you find us. Conclusion. Mr. Vice Chancellor, in the course of this lecture, I have deliberately stayed away from our development journey. The high maternal mortality, child and infant mortality rates, the low life expectancy rate occasioned by preventable deaths, insecurity and insurgency, low literacy rates, and others. My interests and concerns have been the familiar story that this tells us, and why the solutions to these problems have remained a mirage. Chief among the reasons is that our political and media systems have indeed neglected and muted the very voices that will engineer change, and have failed to unleash the tremendous resources in the possession of these voices. We have to return to the old truth. Development is about people in their communities. This means that they have to define it, they have to plan for it, they have to execute it, they have to evaluate it, and they have to live with the consequences of mismanaging it if they do. For this to happen, some factors are categorical. First, communities must have their own media of communication to serve as a rallying point for community organizing and for horizontal and vertical accountability. Community radio, community newspapers, and community-focused social media are the key examples of these. Second, civil society organizations and governments should nudge communities to realize the tremendous resources they have and to get organized. In participatory development, we talk of putting the people in the driver's seat. But these people stopped driving over 450 years ago. How can they jump onto the driver's seat and drive safely and properly? 300 years of slavery, 100 years of colonialism, and half a century of most badly leadership by fellow Nigerians have robbed many communities of their organizational ability and their communityness. Fourth, the language arts, especially speaking skills, must be taught in our secondary schools in a more emancipatory and systematic way than is the case now. Today, they are taught as sections of English where they get only casual treatment. Not only this, the state ministries of education should restore the practice of statewide debate competitions among secondary schools in both English and indigenous languages. As individuals and institutions, we must start to nurture a culture of decent debate and disagreement. When in arguments we say, listen, we really mean shut up. When we start a sentence with due respect, what follows is usually disrespectful. While indecorum creates counterproductive chaos, a disposition or pedagogy that lords over young, junior, or disadvantaged others will either turn them to yes men or attract outright rebellion. Finding muted voices and unmuting them should be our concern, because it concerns the present and the future of all of us. When the voice is silenced, we are all the worse for it. Thanks and acknowledgement. My late father, Ayo Ojebode, ìbí ẹni mọ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ agbọ́sẹ̀sẹ̀ fáyalé, agbẹ́yìn kò lè mọ iye oṣù tó kù. Àrẹ̀mú kìí ẹni tọ̀rùnbọ̀ wáyé, adépábí ẹni wẹ̀jú babaláyé, is dead. And my late mother, Omosolade Ayo Ojebode, deserve all the commendation I can muster. They gave everything they had and willingly borrowed when they had nothing to give to ensure that I had good Western education. Grateful to my brother, Chief Ayo Ojebode, who with my parents saw me through school. It loved me a lot in those days. I am indebted to Dr. James who supervised my PhD and thus gave me my meal ticket for life. May he continue to rest in peace. Among other angels sent my way were Professor Ayo, who moved me on at a critical moment in my life, and late Professor Shegun Oladipo, may God rest his soul. My thanks also go to the management of our great university, who over the years have preserved an atmosphere in which thinkers thrive. My thanks go to my mentors and my lecturers in communication and languages who have transited or who have retired or who are still in active service. They deserve special commendation for their contributions to my career growth. Same goes for our non-teaching staff. I'm grateful to the Faculty of Arts, the premier faculty, for giving me this opportunity to stand here on her behalf. I acknowledge the hard work of the staff of the University Publishing House, led by Mrs. Farai, and the faculty office, led by Mrs. Dibosa. For all that we did and learned together, I want to thank my co-authors and my co-experimenters, adjunct provocateurs, and my academic acolytes at the Partnership for African Social and Governance Research, PASGA, and at the Institute of Development Studies, PRITA. Special thanks go to the hundreds of people and tens of communities from whom I have obtained, maybe even extorted data, and to the funding agencies that have supported my research and advocacy as noted in my citation. I am grateful to the universities and research institutes that have hosted me at one time or the other. I am forever indebted to the navigators and the honors club of Inaugural for decades of friendship, and I am grateful to my extended family, especially Grandma Shipinebeti Kesi, for her moral and spiritual support. I want to specially recognize the presence and thank the Olu of Inaugural, the Oba of my town. May Kabiyesi live long for us. I reserve very special thanks for my wife and friend, Dr. Mrs. Ayo Ojebode. She is usually the first guinea pig for most of my communication experiments. She is my strong pillar of support, indeed, a woman of immense strength and virtues. I wish to express my gratitude to our children, Omosolade, Eboluwa, Oluwatomis, and Anoluwako, a really good bunch of friends and assistants these girls have been to me. When they were younger, they asked me many times, "You are always writing about media and community and radio. When will you write something really useful?" By something really useful, they meant a storybook. I hope to write that one day. I am thankful to God Almighty and to His Son, Jesus Christ. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for your attention.